Evening, guys. On to my live stream of what remains of Edith Finch walking simulator game. A bit annoying. It's one of those games that literally has no main menu, just goes straight into the game itself, which has caused me a little bit of problems. But as one of those games doesn't do proper ultra wide, which is even more annoying. Really, is it that hard to do ultra wide? Apparently it is. It's amazing actually how many games do not support ultra wide. Amazingly. Edith Finch, my journal.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Right, sorry about that. So, we are. Start with the house. It shift zooms, control zooms.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Puzzle. Oh, foxglove.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Okay. Alright, pick anything else up.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Okay. CCTV.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
That would be like the very first thing that I'd touch.
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
So either that will be the very first door we unlock, or it'll be the very last thing we unlock. Well, as you're going to hear that, I'm just going to a little rearrange in
I
here.
wouldn't have driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Dear. This seems incredibly practical.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
That's a very narrow road to get that truck down.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
A mess. I've looked around the outside.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Back door, which I won't be going in.
I heard something moving around in the garage.
Looks like I open the door now. Oh, really? This seems like a bad idea.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
I should have gone to the front door first.
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Just nothing around here if I move in there. I'm just going to the options because our sensitivity is a bit low. Try it there. That's better. That's better.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
There's Edith, Edie, Lewis, Dawn. Right, so let me get my thing up. So I'm Edith, still alive. Lewis, 88 to 2010. So he'd have been 11 years old. He looks the age of the person that's right. There's Dawn. Where's Edie? Edie. Oh, she's right down the bottom though. She's definitely the old one. Dawn's also the mother. See, I wouldn't say there's 11 years age gap between those two, and he looks like he must. I suppose if she's about 5 or 6 there, and he was like a 62-year-old, that'd be a bit different. They're clean out here.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Lots of cookbooks. Then a large cooker.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Can't believe he brought all those home. He must be half-inch half of them. Well, she said, no, she did 7 years ago, so why not years this would be set in?
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Nice outside. 4 place settings, 5 place settings. does have a sort of lived-in feel to it. Well, it's got an iPod or some friction generator, so that's not... Oh, I suppose... I forget actually how long ago iPods have been around, and... You know, I had mine in 2003.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal.
5.
There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Oh. Oh, this house is the original house. Oh, this one. Boxes.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Huh.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Oh shit, so do a filming. Alright, so who's Barbara? Let's have the notes again. Then, vote for Barbara. 94496, she's only 16 years old. She was very young when she starred in that film. That's the kitchen again.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Milton, so where's Milton? Okay. So this man's in a lot of luck, you know, they all died young, all disappeared, or what have you.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Expanded foam, the door closed.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Right.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
I wonder if there's an FOV control on this, because this is very small. No, there is not an FOV. Sadly. Molly, 19 cents, 1947. During the last 10 years.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Oh!
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Okay, while I do that, I'm going to have a look around the rest of the building. In case there is any other rooms. That room's sealed. I thought the key might get used early on. Well, is it going to be used early on or used very late? That was presumably the husband and wife. Calvin. Gregory. They all had their own rooms.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Oh, I thought...
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
That's a name you don't see enough anymore, Odin.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Creepy.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Wait, did you make it a year old?
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait. Mom must have locked the 3rd floor stairs on the night we left.
Okay. That's all the rooms down here. Let's go through here.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Now, Mel, was he the one who disappeared? Yes, it was, wasn't it?
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Molly.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
And Molly, yeah, she's one of the younger ones. No, wait, yeah, so... Odin was... Oh, I don't know, I can't work out this. They're obviously brothers. Dawn was a mother. I don't know how they all link over.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Right.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
What an evil child. I don't want to talk about that.
I kept eating and eating.
Okay.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Okay. Right.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Right.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Okay, this is definitely a game that's taking a weird turn. Not in the room.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Well, no, because you're a cat. I never realised how annoying cat bells were. Okay. Oh. Why do I think I'm going to eat this poor little bird? I feel incredibly mean.
I jumped and I almost got her.
This child is bloody psychotic.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore.
Yeah,
All
but
I cared about was eating that mama bird.
you're a fucking cat, so who cares? Oh, I've lost myself.
I gobbled her up,
Oh!
and suddenly I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Okay. This is like that VTOL serve. It's like some sort of VTOL such a military game where you get to bomb people.
Rabbits.
Okay, I'm not a very good owl, I've just realised. Yeah, pop up there. Where are they? There's one. Yes! I have a rabbit.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Find something bigger. Right, where's the small child?
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
Fucking hell.
And suddenly, I was a shark.
As you do. This is not a natural habitat for a shark. This really is not a natural habitat.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean.
Okay.
I was hungrier than ever.
Sneak up on this fishy.
I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper and it tasted really good.
Oh, there she is.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water.
As you do.
When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
What the fuck?
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Right.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Drunken sailor, what shall we do with a drunken sailor? His belly was rusty razor, his belly was rusty razor, his belly was rusty razor. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? And the captain's daughter. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor?
Goodbye.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
This child needs some serious mental health.
I got closer and closer. All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have. This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Her room was like a museum. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edith, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways. Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down. knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again. The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies. Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And who he was, he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered. As absurd as that comic was, maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
I get to the basement
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Yeah, this game's fucked up. But it's quite neat. Okay. There we go. Evenings, guys. How's that better? I had it on mute, sorry. Hopefully that's a bit better now. Let me know.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Game's a tad high. That's right, I can fix that. There we go. Hope that's better. Mate, you'd like this game. This game's proper fuck up. That's sore Sven died.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Yeah, cool. That sounds like a cool plan. We'll look at that. I need to fiddle my settings. Okay, very, very
I remember
dark.
asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
There's a prepper. Around here first. Went into this game. I'd heard good things. I had a few people say it's an interesting game, and I thought I'd pick it up. And it was cheap in the Steam sale, which is the main reason I purchased most of my games. Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
It's kind of neat, actually. It's got some neat interface elements, the way the wording appears.
And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone.
Hang on a
Maybe
second.
you got tired of waiting.
So the fault. Where's he getting his calendars
Maybe
from?
I just got tired of being afraid.
He doesn't leave this place. Where the hell is he getting them from?
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
It is a bizarre game. It is absolutely bizarre. I kind of like it. But it's utterly weird.
I know it's out there, somewhere.
Have you played this, guys?
Whatever killed Barbara. And Molly. And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day. Even if it kills me.
Yeah, but this is utterly weird. So far, I've been a cat.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
I've watched a slideshow. I've flown from a swing and been killed. It's interesting.
I appreciate all of it, especially the food.
It is interesting. That's to say
I
this.
don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day.
I've not been a slideshow,
I can
no.
already imagine the sun on my face.
Oh shit. Well, excellent. Yeah, no, I've not been a slideshow.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
I can't believe it, Edith. Your family are fucked up. Can I just close the book, please? Ah. It's got such an awkward interface
I'm
sometimes.
sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Mate, you should see what the house is like. When you actually see it at the house,
I don't want
it's
to make
incredible.
the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Okay, this time I won't stay on the train tracks.
Now
That's
that
just
there's
asking for
only one of
trouble.
us left, or maybe 2. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
we believed so much in a family curse. We made it real.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
No one believe you, love, so it's fine.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Oh, so like.
But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Yeah, look at the house, mate. Look at it.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
How? Oh, that pass any sort of regulation. It does look very pretty. It's a very pretty game.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
The only thing I have found is I have yet to find a run button.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
It does, doesn't it? Screen totally normal family. Yeah, you look at it and think, yeah, this looks absolutely fine. It's terrible, they've only got one takeaway that goes there. No worries, I'll see you back soon,
For so
Skez.
long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
It's one hell of a game, this.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, it's probably not the best. To be fair though, half climb is your own fault because the doors that you can't go through are just a bit of expansion foam. You know, a sharp knife would get you through them. But no, you had to insist on climbing over everything. Invisible wall.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
They were insane.
They were both pretty intense. Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
To be honest, that's slightly disturbing. You know, people just... Yeah. I just something unsettling about getting your whole family posed around an animal you just shot just for fun. That's... Yeah, I don't like that mentality.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are. Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
I'll shoot something. Oh, bird.
Aw.
Nothing quite like being outside.
Okay, what else I took a photo of?
Oop. A little more gas in the tank, I guess.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
Hi, Def. Hey!
That's a keeper.
Oh! Oh, there's a child playing the camera.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
He's psychic, he knows when he's taking photos to him.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa's Fen taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail with deer everywhere.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
You're gonna shoot a poor defensive deer.
Great shot, Don.
Oh.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Oh. Yeah.
Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
Oh shit.
Hang on, kiddo. Just trying to get a shot of the two of us together.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so-
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Oh shit. Well, can't say so that deer had its
Of all these
revenge.
stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Come on. Well, can't help to particularly sorry for him. Make your daughter shoot a deer he's not happy about shooting and then pose with it. And then it kills you. Do you know what? Good old deer. Hope it survives and you didn't. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, come on.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
That's nice safety.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Those were her brothers.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Oh, try it, fuck.
It's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
I'm trying the frog. Oh, this is
Hello?
dangerous, isn't it?
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin.
What the fuck?
Lost in his imagination. things he saw. It sure made him happy.
Look at the size. Oh, come on, this is illustrating. Oh, I got achievement. This is the first achievement I bloody unlocked. Oh god.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
Oh shit.
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Right, so I think we're getting the... So yeah, Kay and Sam were... I get it now. The leaves are not their direct descendants. That's a bit mean. Kay is actually... Yeah, because she married into the family? There's no, so Odin Finch is the actual Finch, therefore Kay is not a Finch. Married in... And Seven was also married to one of the others. To Edie, he's not a Finch, technically. Then... Oh, I don't get it. Oh, come on, close the book. Close the book. poor Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Oh, let's kill. Trying to cause carnage.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
It's okay.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Right. So that leaves the mother. Okay.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Alright. Okay.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
That's the...
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Yes.
But it didn't last.
This is fairly weird.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
This is safe, isn't it? What happened to him?
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Sorry. Oh.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Okay.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room, until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Okay, how do I open this door? Okay, that's odd.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Oh, nice keyboard.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
Out of what?
Wonder. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
This is quite awkward.
But he found something more. I worried about him then, daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
Steak.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
It's going to end well, isn't it?
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Okay, that was an interesting, well done segment actually. I'd say it's quite well done.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Louis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. Queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. best I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Wow, that's a lot to get a small letter.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Okay, so we should find out what happened to Dawn and Edie, and then we have finished it.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Issue the Finches by Edith Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Oh, there's a red light on it earlier.
I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Well. Not the ending I was expecting. Gosh, yeah, I suppose, yeah, I enjoyed it. What did I miss a bit? Did I miss Edith's story? No, it's Finch Johan. I'm assuming these are all these people's, phones when they were kids. Yeah, I'd say I enjoyed that. Very weird, very strange. Kind of messed up. Really enjoyable. I like the way the gameplay changed. And each section was different. It is a bit weird how some of the characters were like really small, like, you know, like literally took 2 minutes to cover, and some were quite in-depth storylines. That's interesting, but it worked. Huh. I was waiting for the credits to roll out. This is one of those ones that's got like 1,000 people, isn't it? Can that child look more bored at playing chess? Oh, looks like I got everybody. Replay a story option. I've set Edith to play from the beginning. Oh, I get so I can play the individual stories of each individual person. That's cool. Well, I say I really enjoyed that. Short game. It's what took a couple hours to get through. So yeah, no, for one thing. I wonder if Milton's still alive. Also needs to be a train set. They should have changed train 17 to make it right. No. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I think that's going to be it for now. So very much for watching, and I will perhaps play something a little while, or I might do something shortly. So watch this space. If I see I can have a game quickly, I like the look of. Or I might go back to Disability. I don't know. We'll see. But if you have joined me tonight, I appreciate it. Or if you watch this later in the future, thank you. So, see you later.